Let's get to this story that's coming out in the New York Times Sunday magazine this week about President Obama's bad relationship with Wall Street and the impact it's having on fundraising. Now, I think you start to see these stories because President Obama is trying to position himself in such a manner as to subtly distinguish himself from Mitt Romney, who is Wall Street. And so understand I'm presenting that with the belief that we hear stories like this because it is politically favorable to the president. I don't think any of this is warranted, frankly. I think when President Obama said in 2009 to a room full of bankers, it's me between you and the pitchforks, the president should have used that leverage and should have done more to make it clear to those pitchforks just who they should be stuck in, metaphorically speaking, of course. And he didn't. And now we have too big to fail banks that are bigger than they were when they were too big to fail. And we have a regulatory scheme that has, a lot of holes in it. And we still have a tax policy that favors the rich. But it is amazing to see how oppressed these millionaires and billionaires feel. So oppressed. From this story, Jim Messina, the Obama campaign manager, meets with a group of Wall Street donors. For the next hour, the donors relayed to Messina what their friends had been saying. They felt unfairly demonized for being wealthy. They felt scapegoated for the recession. Even though we should say it's quite clear what brought about this financial crisis. It wasn't poor people committing mortgage fraud. Although maybe there was some, but they were certainly encouraged to do so by professionals they trusted. It wasn't poor people who were making millions, if not billions of dollars, packaging and then betting against these securities of all these crappy mortgages. No, it was wealthy people who, incidentally, have done really well in the past year or two. But that's besides the point for this context. One of the guests raised his hand. He knew how to solve the problem. The president had won plaudits for his speech on race during the last campaign, the guest noted. It was a soaring address that acknowledged white resentment and urged national unity. What if Obama gave a similarly healing speech about class and inequality? What if he urged an end to attacks on the rich? Around the table, some people shook their heads in disbelief. This administration has a more contemptuous view of big money and of Wall Street than any administration in 40 years, one donor said, and it shows. Not really. I don't see it. And they don't have as contemptuous of one as they should, relative to the complete lack of social utility that we see from most activities that happen on Wall Street. But the delusion present in the mind of this millionaire that the wealthy in this country are as oppressed as black people have been historically in this country. That there was an analogy between the gains of broad swaths of people in this country and the perception by the majority that they have lost as a function of those gains. To analogize that dynamic with the dynamic of wealthy people who have to feel somewhat embarrassed, maybe, if they buy $50,000 fur-lined sinks or have Aerosmith play at their kid's bar mitzvah, is so bizarre, is so out of touch, that it's almost impossible to believe that it's real. So while I'm aware that we know this story, frankly, because the Obama campaign perceives it to be advantageous to them that we know this story, it still bespeaks of the incredible delusion that the rich, the very wealthy, who are big enough donors or have the capacity to be big enough donors to be sitting down with the president's campaign manager, the delusions that they embrace and how hard they embrace them.